Here's the cover of this morning's New York Post. Rig Tech. It's a bombshell expose of how big tech companies are blatantly censoring, suppressing, and indeed even falsifying information regarding the assassination attempt on President Trump and the 2024 election. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, and we have got some astonishing revelations coming out showing just how much big tech officials are apparently deliberately interfering with your right to information in a free and fair society. This could absolutely blow you away. But you know what also they're interfering with? That's strong men. It's true. The left is constantly attacking our conservative values by trying to weaken men for the simple reason that a weaker population is easier to control. That's why they deem masculine men as toxic. Why do you think Trump is their worst enemy? And all of this isn't just speculation, gang. Many of you know that testosterone levels have actually been declining for decades now, with a 17% drop among 60-year-olds in 2004 as compared to 1987. Now, thankfully, the solution to combat this emasculation of men is Black Forest Supplements Turkesterone. Now, this limited edition supplement is meant to restore masculinity as it combines two of the most potent natural testosterone boosters on the market. Turkesterone is a natural anabolic compound that supports muscle growth, improves endurance, and boosts testosterone levels. And Black Forest isn't joking when they say limited edition. So don't wait. Jump on these supplements now before they're off the shelves. I personally use Black Forest supplements every day. And I can tell you, folks, I've never felt better. I've got increased energy levels, strength, great sleep, and I feel amazing overall. And I know I'm supporting an amazing company that's fighting the good fight to protect traditional masculinity and femininity. So join and bring your health and life back into your control. Click on that link below right now and try Turkesterone with their buy two, get one free 48-hour promo. You won't regret it, gang. Click on that link below right now. The New York Post has published a bombshell piece exposing big tech operatives in blatant attempts at suppressing and even altering information surrounding the assassination attempt on President Trump and the 2024 election. Now, at the center of these allegations is none other than Google, particularly Google search algorithms. Now, here's one I tried myself. I'm curious if you've done this. I did this just the other day. Type into a Google search, type this in, attempted assassination of, and then take a look at the suggestions you get to finish off that sentence. Gang, I kid you not, you could even type in, and I did this, attempted assassination of TRU. And if you could believe it, you will not get a single suggestion, not one, referencing the recent attempted assassination of President Trump. Not one. Who the F do they think they're fooling on this? It's patently obvious that they are deliberately censoring online information. At least that's what it appears. Here's another one. Wall Street Silver did a Google search about Donald Trump, and the search actually changed it to Harris Donald Trump, and then proceeded to list out all of these puff polls, these response bias polls that shows Kamala winning, which are total lies, by the way. I mean, Kamala Harris is actually polling worse than Biden in the swing states and the swing counties that she needs to win. But regardless, with search returns like this, I mean, it does appear that Google is actively campaigning for Kamala Harris. In other words, there would literally be no difference in the search outcome if someone from the Harris campaign directly rigged the search. I mean, this is why so many are saying that Google's basically become a de facto Kamala Harris super PAC. At least, again, that's what it appears. And so now even the topic of censorship itself, if you can believe it, is being censored. When you type in why censorship is in a Google search, take a look at the suggestions that finish your sentence. This is absurd. Why censorship is important. That's the very first one. Why censorship is important. It's then followed by why censorship is important in social media. Why censorship is required. Why censorship is important in schools, and on and on. I mean, gang, it doesn't get more absurd than this. They are literally censoring the whole notion of censorship. It's beyond Orwellian. And it's not just Google, in fairness. Officials over at Facebook recently admitted that the iconic photo of President Trump after he was shot was indeed being suppressed on their platform. Now, if you didn't see it, it was absolutely stunning. Whenever the image was posted, it actually got flagged by Facebook as misinformation. That iconic photo was being flagged as misinformation. Once again, it was the supposed independent fact checkers, which is about as unfactual of a title one could possibly get. There is no such thing as independent facts, let alone independent fact checkers. But these left-wing nuts, disguising themselves as supposedly independent fact checkers, claimed that the image was altered. It was doctored, and only after a massive backlash reached critical mass against that did Facebook officials finally come out and admit, hey, all right, yeah, you're right. We've been flagging this photo as misinformation. We shouldn't have been doing that. But it was a mistake. It was all just one big mistake. Nothing to see here. Move on from your conspiracy theories. Can I ask, why are these supposed mistakes always seeming to happen in one direction? Why is it that the left rarely has to complain about the suppression of their political interests and concerns? I think we all know the answer, as does Elon Musk. He just tweeted out the donation totals to Democrats given out by Google employees. They were by far the top donors to Biden and the Democrats in the 2020 election cycle. Now, the irony in all of this is that Rig Tech, as the New York Post is calling them this morning, Rig Tech is only ultimately destroying themselves with all of these censorship efforts. That's the ultimate irony here. Big tech is only ultimately hurting itself. And this is because it's widely recognized that freedom of speech and freedom of information, among a number of other things, ultimately promotes political legitimacy. This is probably the single most important role that freedom of speech has in democratic societies, the promotion of political legitimacy. So political legitimacy refers to the conditions that entitle a political entity to govern and enforce its laws. Legitimacy also provides the preconditions that create an obligation among the citizens to obey those laws of a political entity. And what's been recognized by scholars who study freedom of expression and speech is that an electorate that believes it has the opportunity to take part in the decision-making process, to contribute to the public discussion, to be treated with dignity and respect, increases the participants' feeling that they ought to obey the law and avail themselves of the governing authorities' benefits to them, even laws they disagree with, because they see the fundamental legal political institutions as legitimate and worthy of their trust and respect. The key here is that legitimizing function of free speech and information is every bit as true of corporations, big tech social media companies, as it is for any government. Assaulting free speech, assaulting the freedom of information only ultimately ends up delegitimizing the political and legal and corporate institutions that do the suppressing. So ironically, these big tech efforts at gagging and suppressing only end up hurting themselves, their own legitimacy, which means in the end, the ultimate victim of big tech censorship is big tech itself.